Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're out in the greenhouse because I want to get my hands a little bit dirty and plant up a container that's going to go out into the garden when spring frosts are over, and that will ride out all the way into fall when it's time to bring it back in. So I want to use a number of plants that are actually here in the greenhouse already to do this. This could be done with houseplants that you pick up on sale. This could be a number of houseplants that you already have. But I'm thinking budget friendly this year of ways to make big impact in my garden on a small budget. Now, I will let you know there are partnerships coming up for this season. So yes, plants are going to be gifted to me, and we want to show you great options for plants that you may need to buy. But when it comes to containers and some other things, I really think there are a lot of cost-effective ways to make big impacts in your garden, whether it be thrifting or utilizing plants that you already have instead of going out and buying new things. So let me go show you the container that I'm going to be using today and kind of tell you where it's going to be going because it's going to get moved. All right, so as we head out into the garden, it's going to be this container right here. This one has been the focal point to the back entrance of the garden, and I like it, but here's the thing. I would like to reduce some of the visual clutter of things. I've got a container over there. I've got these over here, which may or may not be actually staying, and then the container here. But my plan was to originally have a tree, either an evergreen or a deciduous right here to greet you. And I think I want to do something a little more, permanent. That way I don't have to keep stepping into the flower beds to take care of that container. I do not have drip set up to it, and I don't want to run drip to it. I'm trying to be a little more eco-friendly each and every time that I make a change in my garden. I think about how much water is going into it. So this container is actually going to be moved over here and behind this boxwood. You can see I did my cleaning up the other day, and then snow happened and I was never able to get out here and get it dumped. But this container is going to go, and there's a possibility this container may leave as well, and we just have that container on the pedestal back there. I'm also thinking I have some cinnamon ferns that I would like to put around the base, since that is kind of a shady corner because of our beautiful mimosa tree. That would be a really good area for those because it kind of stays damp back there too, which is interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab at least the planter, and we're going to get it taken to the greenhouse so we can start, taken to the greenhouse so we can at least start to get it planted up. Get in here. Unfortunately, without knowing where the plants are, I'm going to have to step on stuff. Oh! Oh, is it stuck? Oh no. Oh, okay. Whew. All right, off to the greenhouse. Okay, so I had to makeshift an area to be able to do this. It's just the container flipped over onto another container, and I want to at least make sure it's level so that when I plant, it is still level when it goes out into the garden. Okay, so this is, well, I should probably get a tape measure. I don't have one readily available. I would say about 18 inches opening, maybe 20 inches around, and it's about 18 inches tall, 16 to 18 inches tall. I bought this planter from At Home a few years ago. I really love the simplicity of it. It kind of looks like that cordon steel, but it is a resin, concrete or something like that. What I've been trying to do for the last couple years is place a container inside of it that meets the same width of the rim, and then build up underneath of it if it needs it, so that I can do evergreens and stuff like that through winter or fall arrangements. That way, if, you know, a freeze comes, the pot's not affected. I'm just using a plastic nursery pot. But I'm at the point where I don't really do those types of containers anymore. So I have decided to just fill it with soil. So I've got a layer down already from the pot that it's actually sitting on. And then I'm going to go through and just top it off. And I'm using Organic Mechanics. This is a peat-free potting mix. It's very light and fluffy. So I'm just going to stop there because one of the plants that I'm using has a really big root ball. I do want to add some slow release in. So whatever you decide to use, I actually picked these Miracle Grows up on clearance at the end of the year. I got them for $2.40. Read the description. These won't burn your plants like everybody claims. Miracle Grow's been around for years. I use it. There's no harm, no foul in it. Be appropriate. So shaking a generous amount in because it is a large container. And then make sure you mix it into your potting soil. Really need to stand up for this. So my first plant that I'm going to go in with, I probably want to bring it to the back since this is going up against a wall. And it's very tall and it's very wide. I got this on clearance at the end of the year and I've just been harboring it over. It is a sago palm. Might have shown it to you already, but I'm going to get some room in here because it's a big pot and I don't know how well it's rooted in. So I know this isn't an option for everybody. I did get this. Y'all, winter has gotten me fat and I'm out of breath easily. I got this sago palm on clearance for 75% off. It was originally $88. I got it for $22. So I bought it last year with intents of using it this year, and it's really cool. You know, you can still go to the garden center and find large plants in the house plant department that are of good size for a good price. You can pay full price if you want. I usually shop the clearance. There's plenty of time to make over this plant. And especially when spring hits and the warm weather comes, they respond. They're going to look completely different by a month being outside. So don't hesitate to save some money and buy something on clearance. And sometimes they just look really good. They just need cleaned up a little bit. It's because I got a fresh shipment of stuff in and they need the room. So I'm going to take this guy out of the container. I'm going to need some leather gloves because sago palms are really prickly right through here along their trunk and they will beat you up. So I'm going to rinse my hands real quick and get my gloves on. Okay, so wish me luck with this because this thing can be mean. And I'm hoping it's not too mean and it knows I want to put it in a bigger pot and make it happy. I feel like I should wear a face mask with this puppy too. To use the knees or the feet to get this out of this pot. Oh, we did it. Okay. Oh, it's actually rooted in. Whew. Quite well. Okay. And she's lopsided too. So I'm going to scrape off. I can go. Yeah, we'll just take these off now. I don't think I need them. I'll let coconut choir. I put any of my soils off to the side, like remnants. If there's no problem with them, I'll just throw them out into the garden and use it as composting material. But I do want to take away some of the soil just because, you know, fungus gnats, which are not that big of a deal to me in the garden. And then okay. Oh my goodness. I need it to go down deeper. I'm going to take out some of the soil too. I might have got a little overzealous. Yeah, we're going to have to take out some soil. It's easier to start with less soil than it is to start with more when you got the big boy in. That looks pretty good. How's the front look? Looks good. Okay. Woo. Sorry for all the heavy breathing now. Just let's keep it real. Okay, so I know I'm not going to do anything really around the back. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that secured in. It's also extremely warm in here today. I don't know why. Ugh. Okay, let's reposition myself. That heater keeps coming on. I just made a mark on the thermostat, and hopefully that will make it easier to put it back up to temperature. It's 61 and I feel like I'm dying in here. Like I'm just, and now I just got dirt all over my forehead. Cool. Okay, going in next, I want to spillers because those are going to be the hardest to tuck in if you have too much of the filler. So I've chosen two things for interest. I'm going in with wire vine. I overwintered it. It's been pretty easy. It's water hungry, like it's dripping. It likes humidity, so if you can keep it near a window, bright light, or under even grow lights, and keep like a saucer of water near it, you'll be good to go. But it's water hungry. It will dry out, but it rebounds fast. So I'm gonna go in with that, thinking of how this container is gonna sit. I'm gonna go right here with it. I already like the contrast of the small leaves and the big leaves. Let's go about here with it. I want to leave some area over here because I have some filler I want to put in. So then the other plant that I'm going to go with are just a bunch of cuttings. This is a fuzzy Tridescantha. I'm not quite sure what the exact name is. It's no different than your purple variety. It's no different than like the one that's called Wandering Jew. Good name for it, right? But I have like a variegated version as well. There's many different Tridescanthas that are great houseplants. This one's really easy. It's a little more drought tolerant because it's that silver and it's fuzzy. So I'm gonna go ahead and place that right over here. And like I said, these were done from cuttings. So think about that when it comes to this season, when you're looking to buy plants. Can you buy a bigger plant that you can easily take cuttings on and multiply and do multiple containers from? I've got two more pots of this. Two more pots of this that I can use for, my containers, and they were all free. I'm actually going to move this over because I'm going to take it out because I forgot I got one more plant that I want to put in here, and it's a little bit bigger. So don't get me wrong, I like buying plants in the spring, but some of the most expensive ones around here are fuchsias. This was 2 stalks that I cut back pretty hard. Fuchsias are a shrub in their native environments, and we have a lot that are hardy here in the States. We only have one that's hardy here in my zone, and that's fuchsia. I'll put the name here. I do have it. It dies to the ground every year. If I provided it some protection, maybe the stalks would get a little taller. It only gets about 2 foot tall anyway, by 2 foot. But this is one of the ornamental ones. You can see it's put on a lot of growth. It's a little weird looking, but I still want to put it, and I want to put it right here so that we have the pendulous flowers from it. This is the classic red reddish pink with the purple, bells on the inside. And I just put it in a hanging basket. I have a couple other varieties that I'm overwintering as well. So I think this is going to look really pretty, and then I'll show you what I'm going to use with it to accentuate the colors. Ooh, I will tell you, this poor plant is really, really brittle. And I don't know if that's because of the new growth, but I'm trying to be really careful with it. Now I'm taking some of that soil that I took out to bolster this up. It's extremely important to make sure that you get soil up against the rim, because it's going to be really hard when you get the plants in to get that soil in there, just like I was fighting just a second ago. So don't worry about the direction of the plant. The plant will respond and fix itself to where you're going with it. So I'm just nestling that down, and I've still got a little bit more space back here, and that's for some Rex begonias. So I've got two different varieties here. This one is more silver to pick up on that Tradescantha color with the rosy points, and then the pink undersides as well, which will pick up the pink stems from the fuchsia, and then also the bell color. And then I have this Rex begonia as well, so it's really amplifying that color now. And I think I'm gonna go with this silver one adjacent to, oh jeez, man, that didn't even root in that pot really well, but it's happy. So I'm gonna go in and put that silver one adjacent to the Tradescantha. We'll see how it looks first. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I like that. We'll use some of the soil that it didn't use. Backfill here. Now, I think, we can all agree that we really like full containers. So if you find that your container is not full enough, give it time. Don't overplant it. Know that some of the plants that you're using are very, very vigorous, such as the wire vine, such as the Tradescantha here. Those are going to fill up and twist and, fill its space. You can always direct those. The same with the fuchsia. It does grow pretty well. So don't assume just because you have all this empty space that it's not going to get filled up when that summer heat comes. If you're planning to keep this some type of planter like this inside, you could go a little bit heavier for instant impact. But really, again, if you're thinking if it's going to be a long-term planter, space accordingly. It's kind of nice to get some of these small containers back too. All right, now the real test. How does it look? I like it. It's a little different. Could we... I know this is pretty big. Oh, that's a whole dead stalk right there. That's unsightly. Better. I feel like instantly I want to put something back in here, but I know what's going to happen is there's already a lot of growth from the fuchsia. And as these stems get longer, they're going to keep cascading down. But we'll keep an eye on that little section for the time being. But I know the wire vine's going to want to fill out. This Tradescantha is going to want to fill out. And if the time comes, we can always tuck something in. All right, so let's take a look at this a little better. So we have the big sago palm, which I can tell is slightly leaning, but I'll go over it. And then the Rex begonias, the wire vine, the big old fuchsia, the fuzzy tridescantha, and then the other Rex begonia. I think this is going to look really cool. Now, this might not be everybody's taste, but this is a little more wild, a little less high impact on color. That's what I want. I don't want it to be too jarring for the area because where it's going is actually in a more naturalistic planting area. So this will lend itself beautifully there, but still have enough interest to draw the eye. So if you made it this far and you thought, okay, this is underwhelming, I agree. It's a lot of green, a lot of just foliage right now, but it's going to start picking up. We should actually start getting some blooms from the fuchsias here shortly, so you have that to enjoy. And then I forgot to mention that this tradescantha does put out little pink blooms from time to time, and then the begonias do bloom as well. So there's interest throughout there. It's just not high impact. But like I said, that's what I want for the area, and I'm happy with the container. I know that it's going to continue to grow on, and it's going to get fuller and fuller, and we'll, come back to it when it gets, moved out there, and then I'll show you progressively throughout the season through our garden tours. But it's a little something to do right now just to get my hands dirty. It's freeing up a little bit of room in the greenhouse for me because I have seedlings that need to come out here, and I need to get up another grow rack going. So this helps me a little bit, and it gave me something a little different to do than sitting inside, watching TV, looking out the window, and being depressed about the amount of snow. The sago palm, the Rex begonias, and the tradescantha all like the soil to drain out, dry out a little bit in between waterings. The wire vine and the fuchsia are going to be our water hungry plants. So even if we do slightly overwater, these guys are going to benefit from it, and they're going to help take up extra water. The tradescantha is actually doesn't really mind being overwatered so much. It may, if too much happens to it, it may end up, rotting away at the base, but usually the tips are fine. You can restart them. So if that mistake happens, the biggest ones that are going to have your biggest issue are your Rex begonias and the sago palm. So why did I put it all together? They have the same light requirements. When they get outside, they'll have the same requirements as far as watering. I'm not worried about it. Because the amount of heat and humidity that's going to be outside, it's not going to make a difference. And if you're thinking, Brad, you're wrong. I could be. Not going to lie. Could be. But I think this combination works. I think it's going to be perfectly fine. I've done some crazy stunts in my past where I've taken agaves and colocasias and put them in containers together, and everybody's happy. You just need to monitor how much watering you're doing and know your limits. That's it. I hope you find some time to play, make a container. Maybe it's a container for spring. Maybe it's a container for your house using house plants that you already have. Maybe you pick up a new one on clearance. You're saving money that way as well. But don't hesitate to get your hands dirty, get around plants, and enjoy some time with them and de-stress, because we all could use it right now. All right, so I will see you in the next video, and we'll see what we get into then. Bye, guys.